What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka New York Prepper. It is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020, and I have a weather alert for you guys. So, anybody that's watching this in the southeastern United States, especially the Gulf Coast and the eastern seaboard, needs to pay attention. We have the potential for some storms and possible hurricanes forming in the next couple of days that could impact the U.S. mainland, especially on the southeastern United States. And then also, if you're in Hawaii, you need to pay attention for a tropical storm that could be making landfall right over Hawaii and could be impacting all of the Hawaiian Islands. All right, so I'm going to get into this. This is the third update of hurricane season 2020. And so, without further delay, I'm just going to update you guys on what I've been seeing so far. So, if we look at the Atlantic Basin, we have two disturbances here. We have one in the Gulf of Mexico, which has a 70 to 80% chance of development. All right. And they're saying that it could develop into at least a tropical depression. It potentially could strengthen further beyond that. But they're saying that it will definitely turn into a tropical depression. So, that's something to look at, okay, and to follow if you're in the Gulf region here, okay, the Gulf Coast. You need to be paying attention to this disturbance here, okay. Then we also have Tropical Storm Gonzalo, which is officially a tropical storm. It's out in the Atlantic, and it's forecast to go into the Caribbean. And then we also have Hurricane Douglas, which is out here in the Pacific. This is actually the first hurricane in the Pacific for 2020, as far as the Eastern Pacific. Not like Japan or those places, but the Eastern Pacific. This is the first official hurricane of the 2020 hurricane season in the Eastern Pacific. All right, so we have Hurricane Douglas, Tropical Storm Gonzalo, and then we have the possible depression in the Gulf Coast. So I want to just quickly go over all these storms and, give you guys a brief summary of what they're expecting these storms to do. And that's pretty much it for this video. So this disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico has me concerned, and I think it could potentially turn into a tropical storm. But nonetheless, the fact that we're seeing so many hurricanes starting to pop up, and it's, mid-July, so it's about normal this time of year for the hurricanes to start popping up. But, if we have a disturbance like this in August or September, when the water temperatures are higher, then that's something that would really concern me. But, even a tropical storm can have devastating impacts, guys. You don't need a Category 3 or Category 4 hurricane to do damage. Sometimes just a tropical storm with a lot of rain, like 10 inches of rain or 20 inches of rain, that can cause as much or more damage than a very windy, strong wind Category 3 or 4 hurricane that doesn't dump as much rain. Just look at the Hurricane Harvey in Texas, how it devastated Texas, and that was just mostly rain. It wasn't so much the wind from that storm, it was just a lot of rain, and it caused a massive amount of flooding. So just because something is only a tropical storm or only a tropical depression doesn't mean that you shouldn't prepare for it and be concerned about it. So officially, as of 2 p.m. Eastern Time today, it says here that the recent satellite data indicates a broad low-pressure area has formed in association with a tropical wave. As of right now, it's poorly organized, but conditions appear conducive for additional development, and a tropical depression is likely to form during the next day or two as the system moves west-northwest at about 10 miles per hour. And they give it a 70 to 80% chance of formation. Okay, so we have to keep an eye on this one. Okay, so if you're in the Gulf Coast, please do yourself a favor and watch your local news, or you can go to the weather service and stay updated on it. It says here that the Air Force Hurricane Hunter aircraft is scheduled to investigate the system this afternoon. So they're going to send an airplane in there sometime, at the time of filming this video, to get more data on it. So the fact that they're sending a Hurricane Hunter aircraft means that they're concerned about it. The next one to discuss is Tropical Storm Gonzalo. And that one could also potentially, could potentially become a hurricane by Thursday. And as of right now, the maximum winds are 50 miles per hour with a minimum pressure of 1,000 millibars. So the pressure is still relatively high, but I think this pressure is going to drop off pretty rapidly over the next few days. And it's moving 14 miles per hour, so it's not moving very fast, which gives it a lot of time to strengthen over that warm, equatorial water over there. That's some very, very warm water temperatures, and hurricanes need warm water to strengthen, so it's going to have plenty of time to strengthen, and they are expecting it to become a hurricane by Thursday. So, and I'll show you guys the cone here for that one. Okay, so Tropical Storm Gonzalo, this is what they're expecting. They're expecting it to become a hurricane sometime on Thursday morning, and then it's going to be a hurricane all the way through Friday night and into Saturday morning, and then it'll transition back into a tropical storm, and then it's going to work its way into the Caribbean here. And from here on out, this is the area that I'm concerned about. We could potentially see this storm, enter into the Gulf of Mexico. So that's a concern of mine. This storm could potentially track over Jamaica and head into the Gulf and then strengthen. As it's doing that, it can strengthen, or it can cut across Cuba and go over into Florida. And if it does that, it'll weaken when it goes over Cuba, because of the mountains in Cuba and Jamaica. But once it gets back out over the Atlantic over here, it could re-strengthen again. Okay, so that's my concern with this storm. We have to keep an eye on this because it could curve into the Gulf, or it could curve over Cuba and head up, the eastern seaboard into the Atlantic shore of Florida. Okay, so this is another one that we have to keep an eye on. All right, and then finally we have Hurricane Douglas. Okay, well, actually, let's read the public advisory from the National Weather Service on the Tropical Storm Gonzalo. Maximum sustained winds at 50 miles per hour. Present movement is 14 miles per hour in the western direction. Minimum pressure 1,000 millibars. Let's see if there's any other. It says maximum winds have increased to near 50 miles per hour with higher gusts. Additional strengthening is forecast during the next couple of days, and Gonzalo is expected to become a hurricane by Thursday. All right. Gonzalo is a small tropical cyclone as tropical storm force winds extend outward only 25 miles per hour, so it's very small. So that's the good news about it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And then we have Hurricane Douglas, which is supposed to head over the Hawaiian Islands. We'll have to keep an eye on this one as well. All right, so we have Hurricane Douglas, which right now it's a Category 1 hurricane. It has 75 mile per hour winds, and as you see, it's going to be a hurricane all the way through Saturday, and then it's going to at some point transition over into a tropical storm once it gets close to Hawaii. And it looks like the cone is going to have it going right over Hawaii here, okay? The big island of Hawaii. So if you're in Hawaii, you need to pay attention, all right? You need to follow this forecast and see what's going on, see how the storm progresses. Maybe it'll veer off course and go to the north or south, or it may just die out into a tropical depression. But, even a tropical storm can cause problems. Tropical storms are still pretty powerful. They have a lot of rain and wind. So you need to keep an eye on this if you're in Hawaii, all right? Let's just see what the forecast discussion is here. Douglas is expected to move near or over portions of the Hawaiian Islands this weekend, and there is an increasing chance that strong winds and heavy rainfall could affect portions of the state beginning on Sunday. Interests on the Hawaiian Islands should continue to monitor the progress of the storm. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this short little update, and I'm going to continue doing these hurricane season updates as we progress deeper and deeper into the hurricane season. It's still the beginning of the hurricane season, so we're just starting to see activity, ramping up. But really, August and September are the peak months of the hurricane season. So, expect a lot more videos from me when we start to see more storms popping up. And I'm going to monitor the progress of these storms and keep you guys updated if there's anything breaking. If one of these storms starts to strengthen and is impacting the Gulf Coast, I will, update you guys. Or if it's going to impact any part of the U.S. mainland, I'm going to update you guys. All right, so stay tuned to my channel for breaking news, weather alerts, especially with the hurricane season. And stay safe, guys. If you need to prepare for a hurricane, you want to make sure you have clean water for drinking. You want to make sure you have at least 2 weeks worth of food. As a prepper, I have 6 months plus of food. But if you're not a prepper yet, get yourself at least a couple of weeks of food in case there's a massive power failure or flooding and everything is shut down. You want to have at least a couple of weeks of food. I would say at least 3 to 4 weeks, ideally more. I always recommend 6 months of food for everybody. Water, you want to have clean drinking water. The best thing to do is just go to your local store and buy a couple of 5-gallon water jugs, and just have them sitting around. Flashlights, lanterns, spare batteries, personal protection in case there's looters and stuff like that. That and anything else that you think that you would need. But those would be the basics, the absolute basics. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates as we progress into the hurricane season. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.